Episode 14 is going to be a little bit of a mess. Hello, nomads, pie people, and strangers everywhere across the internet. My name is V. Welcome back to Nomadic Opinions, where this video is kind of being inspired by the whole Momokun, aka Mariah Malad incident that's been going on in the cosplay community involving sexual harassment, greed, shaming, bullying, death threats, blatantly harassing people to get them out of communities, and even violating their own personal things. Just a whole slew of different scenarios that have gone super bad and have really shown that someone's character can really deteriorate if they either do not change, do not figure out that their issues are long-standing, and so many issues aside from that. And I'm covering this opinions video, as I'm saying, as an example, because the real opinion is that change isn't that easy. You have to literally go through the darkest or sometimes the brightest things to change you into a better individual. Why do I say this for you guys? Well, I don't know too much about the bright side. I only know individuals that have told me the brighter side about how that has changed them into a better individual. I have certain individual friends that are just like, oh, I was able to change this way because someone believed in me so strongly that I picked myself up. I was in the gym every day to get myself in shape for things, where I've known people that have tried to go on to become stuntmen and to become models and to travel the world doing whatever for like extreme sports or photography or film designing for all these different companies that are doing stuff like Paramount or for Fox, all of these different companies and whatnot. That's a good way to change, having a light thing to focus on to make yourself see. You shouldn't be holding yourself back by having these small individual climates for yourself just piling up to build you up to a storm of just descending destruction. You should honestly have that beacon if you're following the lighter side, because anyone that is a terrible individual can change from the lighter half.
Oh, that's nice.
But like I said, I don't really know that light half as well as I do the darker one. Sure, I've had people that have inspired me to do better, but it takes me to lose a lot for me to learn my lessons, because loss has been my greatest teacher in life. Now, I won't go into any specifics about what I've done that has been as terrible to lead me into why I say loss is my greatest teacher, because I can do a laundry list of things that either I personally or people that have worked for me have done in my name, or in their own names, to make me as the primary person that was the cause of the problems. I will never say I'm a saint. I will never say I was always a good person. I've been a monster. I've been a terror. I've been a bully for certain individuals. I've been a bane of people's existence. I've been a terrible other son. I've been a terrible partner, a terrible potential father. I've been a terrible everything. I've done so many awful things in my life that I can never have enough time in the world to apologize to every individual that I have wronged in my days. I still fuck up today because I know I'm not perfect. I know I will never be perfect. I'm still learning to be better, and that's because I've lost so much to see what I need to change. The person that you guys see today, this is from a lot of hard work to make myself be a lot better. I try to have good intentions for things, but other times it doesn't really mesh well with others, and they're just like, why are you doing it this way instead of clarifying that way? And I get all up in my head because my bipolar depression, not an excuse, just one of the things I've noticed about myself, has me in a way where I have to literally just snap because I'm just so pumped up with my own adrenaline and everything, that just go from my calm demeanor self to just jumping into rage and doing all this sort of stuff. Or I'll just be trying to do something in a very calm, unique way of trying to be an adult. Or I'm just going to get so fed up with someone not taking myself seriously that I end up lashing out and making stuff terribly, where they feel like any action I have done is against them, and it becomes this whole giant spiral of events. It's always a catch-22 with anyone when you're just trying to do better for yourself, when you're going through the stuff where you admit that you haven't always been the best person, been the best individual, point blank whatsoever. You end up seeing all of your faults much more to a T than others, where you're, at least in certain times, like, I don't want to hear criticism because I criticize myself enough. I just want to hear positive feedback. It's a huge minefield for a lot of individuals like myself, because being hard on ourselves is the exhausting part. Then to have other people be hard on us while we're being hard on ourselves on sometimes our worst days ends up not being the best case scenario. Like, sometimes it just kind of helps to have good feedback when you're honestly this low, trying to build yourself up in a way. But by this point, you're probably just like, how did all this get inspired by Mariah Malad, who's done so many terrible things, offended so many people, and has caused such a huge stigma to the cosplay community, to the people for her Patreon, to her friends? Why does this whole entire notion of change have to be a Nomadic Opinions episode? Shouldn't this be like a Lion's Rant about how Momo-kun has really done a number on her friends, her colleagues, her sponsors, all the people that backed her up? There is a time for that, but this is not the time to just be berating and just ranting and raving about other individuals that have done so many horrendous things, when if we all just sit down and think about it, we're all kind of monsters to somebody, if not to a lot of people.
You just blew my fucking mind.
I'm not trying to white knight anybody or say you shouldn't be going after Momo-kun. Do whatever the fuck you want to Mariah Malad, because whether she deserves it or not, I'm not responsible for her. I'm not her friend, I'm not her father, I'm not her lover, I'm none of those things. If anything, I just don't feel pity, but I just feel remorse, because this could have been anybody. Any single fucking person, not a gender, not a mindset of a position of power, any fucking body could have been involved to cause these sort of events themselves on an even grander scale. Think about that. This is small potatoes to what could have been a larger factor, if we're being honest. Things could have been a lot worse. And yet, if we don't sit down and think about, we actually do need to admit that some of us need a change on the inside so that we don't end up having people like this happen. We need to have a mentality where we can be the bridging point so that we don't have these sort of individuals coming back. Because sometimes when we're trying to put on the rosy glasses for ourselves to do things and just do these other things, because in multiple communities we have these different outcomes. What changes that we try to make for others to bridge them in without trying to show the goods, the bads, to make sure they have that brighter mentality or their darker nature to bring them further and further in to grow more as individuals. There is no change for the better. There's just stigmatism that's able to grow and fester and become a blight onto your own platform, your own societal standpoint, your own group of events, your own backings of things. It all goes back to how change can actually be a factor and whether or not that can actually be attainable. If it can't be attainable, then all this stuff can be moot. If it can be attainable, let's strive for it. Let's actually make everything grow, be able to stand tall, be firm, be acknowledged to do something better for everyone involved. Because nothing, I mean nothing in this world deserves to have a huge stigmatism behind it to become a darker nature for what it should be. It should be something bright. It should be something as a pinnacle for what you want to do next in life. And I'm not saying this as someone that has no idea how beautiful change can make someone. Change is a beautiful thing. It can make anyone find redemption. Where if I could go back and talk to every part of myself in every single timeline I've lived and existed, I would try to change myself for the better so I wouldn't become the monster that I was back then, to be a better person than I am sitting before you today. But I could go on and on about this for you guys, but at this point you're probably just like, whatever. So you guys could either take what I'm saying as its own simple page into how to make the world better and us trying to become a better group of individuals to do something a lot more spectacular, or you guys could just see this as just random ramblings from someone that may or may not know what he's talking about. Either way, it's your or my opinion, so let's agree to disagree.
If you want to turn me on, say your own, don't spare the tone, and know a little soul.